special edition of What People Need to Know. I'm your host, Maxine Willis, and General Manager right here at WHPR TV. As Highland Park's community television station, our role is to provide a platform for candidates to share their ideas, answer questions that matter to our viewers, not to tell people how to vote, but to help them make informed choices. We're pleased to have in the studio with us today the Honorable Mayor Glenda McDonald, who's seeking re-election as mayor of the great city of Highland Park. Mayor, we certainly, you're no stranger to WHPR TV, but we certainly want to thank you for being here today, because our viewers, they want to hear from you where Highland Park is today. What do you believe the future of Highland Park is, and why are you asking for re-election?
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate that. I am just, looking forward to continuing the process of moving the city forward. We have started a movement that has to continue. It just has to continue. Moving forward means whatever we've started, finishing, and then starting some new projects and moving them forward. Mm-hmm. So I'm just happy to be able to here to answer questions and talk to people about my project, how I feel Absolutely. The city should be going, and what direction they should be going in.
Okay. Mayor, I know that you get lots of calls of people wanting you to do various things in this city. Mm-hmm. But I would like for you just to spend a few minutes this morning clarifying the misconception of the mayor's role. I know that you get calls to do this and to do that and to change this, but there are people who need to know what's the misconceptions of the mayor's office before we get into all these other questions, so that people clearly understand what your role is.
Absolutely. So for those who know, government, took civics in high school and wherever, they know that there are three branches of government. There's the executive branch, which is the mayor's office. There's the judicial branch, which is the judge and the court. And then there's the legislative branch, which is the city council. So, a lot of times I get calls about things like, why can't you all give people less sentencing, or whatever the case may be. Well, that's not a role of the mayor's office. That's a role of the judicial branch, and that goes to the court. We have an elected judge who is the chief judge for the 30th District Court, and those rules are governed by the state of Michigan. The court is governed by the state of Michigan, not the city of Highland Park. The role is governed by the state of Michigan. And so people call us all the time about mm-hmm. things that has to do with the court. Yes, our police officers write tickets, or our code enforcer write tickets. Once those tickets go into the system, which there is a system that they're logged into, then they are turned over to the court. And the court issues, exactly. summons to the court for those tickets, or some tickets you just have to pay a fine. Some tickets it's just you just pay, it's a fee. But when it goes into things like nuisance abatement, things like that goes through the court system, and the judge decides on what happens with those tickets and what happens with the people that they've served. The legislative branch, which is the city council, a lot of people think that I make the decisions mm-hmm. about how what properties are sold, how they're sold. No, I make a recommendation.
Yes.
I bring forth a recommendation to the city council meetings on properties that we would like to, sell to people, side lots, vacant lots, commercial lots, whatever it is that we have. I make a recommendation. Okay. That recommendation goes before the city council. The city council makes a decision of whether or not they want to sell those lots to people. So a lot of people is like, they just holding on to the lots. They don't want to sell. I don't make that decision. When somebody come to apply for a lot and they pay their deposit, and then, it goes. We have people in front of them, so people think it's supposed to be instant.
Right.
But there's a long list of people, and then we put a list out to the city council. City council votes it up or down, and that's how it goes. If they vote it down, then they've decided not to sell you the property. There's a misconception about houses. The city doesn't have a lot of houses on land. We sold 23, I believe, in auctions. Our charter governs that. It says that in order for us to sell property, we must sell it through an auction process. We don't sell houses like that. That's the only way that we can sell a house is through an auction. So a lot of people think, oh, they just gave the houses away to people who they want. No, that's not how it works.
Right.
We have a governing document, and that's our charter. So that's how the governments work. They always put the mayor's office over everything because, of course, the mayor is the person who they see all the time.
Right.
But there is other elected officials like our treasurer and our clerk. Those are elected officials. I do not run the clerk's office. I do not run the treasurer's office. They are elected. They're not appointed. So they have their own way of running their office. But again, people think that I'm supposed to run everything, and that's not how it goes.
Right. Well, yeah, they think you walk on water, man.
Right. Well,
But that's why we're excited that you're here today, and that's why this show, what people need to know.
Right.
Because it clarifies misconceptions. People, when you do better when you know better. And,
Absolutely.
And you will get better results when the residents know, if I need to get this particular situation handled, this is who I go to. This is who I can hold accountable for that. And I think that you mentioned there was an initiative to provide education to young people about the levels of government.
Yeah, so, as a 32-year retired teacher, I'm still educating. We don't ever retire the mentality of teaching. We just retire the coming into a school and teaching. So I think the best way to start making sure that people know how government works is to educate our young people and let them know, there is a process for everything. You don't just instantly do it.
Right.
You don't just you have to walk through everything, because some people think that it's supposed to be just automatic, like I give the word and boom, there it is. No, that's not how it works. There's a process. And so I want to do, as one of my initiatives, is to make sure that young people in our city, especially ones in 11th and 12th grade, getting ready to graduate,
Right.
go to college or wherever they're going to go, trade school, whatever they want to do, understand how it works in government. So when they come back to the city, which I want them to come back to the city, they, bring their skills back
Right.
and use them here. They know who to look for, they know who to talk to about certain things. And so that's an initiative that I really want to make sure happen in our next term. I started in this term with a few young people, asking questions. We have a barber school. They come, 8th graders come to the city hall. We go through a walkthrough of the building, talk about each department, talk about what they do. Even the judge came over to the courtroom.
Wow.
And they sat in and listened to her tell them about her role as a, the judge, what it is that's going on.
I'm really glad you're talking about young people, Mayor, because one question I have is, what is your vision in helping to keep young families in the city of Highland Park?
Well, we know this era of young people, this generation, is more technologically inclined.
Absolutely.
And everything they do evolves around technology. And so one of my plans is to make sure that we start a technology hub where involving students and for them to come in and not only just learn about things through technology, but to also be a vessel for other students and teaching them about how to use technology safely, how to use it professionally, how to make it a tool that you can use to grow your city, help grow your city. So, yes, the technology is one. Making sure they have a safe space that they can go and, entertain themselves, walk around safely. When I grew up, we didn't have the technology as much, although we did have that big old Apple, thing.
Right.
But we did have a place to go, so that we can have fun. We did have places I wasn't allowed to go, but
Right.
anyway, you still had those options. And so creating safe spaces for the young people to be able to come and enjoy and party. And, we have a space here called Rock Local.
Okay.
And Rock Local, young people go there for poetry. It's a poetry, poetry in the park. They go there for, just to have a good time. And it's always usually a safe place where they come in, and the proprietor, he makes sure that these young people are able to express themselves. That's another thing, giving them something to express themselves with. Most young people now are into green spacing. So our rec department, Parks and Rec, they're making sure our green spaces are suitable for young people to be able to come to, sit, listen. And one of my biggest goals is to be able to make a park big enough that we can have entertainment in. Folks come out just like they do on the Greenway, which is one of the good places that we have right now growing. And just be able to communicate with each other, talk to each other, walk with each other. So that, giving them that, and giving them a homes,
yes,
that they can buy and purchase.
Are there any incentives for young people to purchase homes in the city of Highland Park?
Okay, so I'm not going to even make things up at this time. No, because we're tearing down.
Gotcha. Okay.
And as we grow the city, of course there will be. There will be. First of all, we can't give away. Again, it goes back to that charter. And people think that it can happen. We cannot give away property. I would love to be able to give away some lots and whatever and say, hey, if you build a house here, you can get this lot for free. But that's just not how our charter works.
Okay.
And that's not how state government works, or any government. If it's public property, you can't give it away. Now, in some spaces, they do sell them for $1, but that's not in our charter. Yeah.
Mayor, you just mentioned that, about properties being torn down. What is the plan to tear down these vacant properties?
So it already started.
Oh, great.
We have received $5 million from the land bank. They've put into their budget to put $5 million set aside for Highland Park to tear down properties that have been abandoned for a long time. Including larger spaces like the building up on Woodward, the Highland Tower, is one. Yes, people are saying, well, they said they were going to tear it down. That was in April. It's almost August. Well, everything takes time, and there's been some obstacles, but it's still on the list to be torn down. The Highland appliance building that's been sitting with like a shell.
Yes,
or nothing.
right.
It's on the list to be torn down.
Great.
So right now, they're out there tearing down houses. I know someone just mentioned that I'm seeing all these houses coming down around me, but it's two next door here and there. It's on the list.
Okay.
We don't operate the list.
Okay.
Those properties have been signed over to Wayne County, and Wayne County operates the list. And they tear down as they run down lists. But yes, we have 60 properties that was slated to tear down. The county had, I don't know the numbers, but I know it's like 50, something like that, or higher, that they're tearing down of their properties, because people don't understand that we don't own every single lot in this city. We have county properties, state properties, city properties, and private owned properties. So you see it sitting next to you overgrown, it might not be ours.
Oh, I got you.
Okay. But we are tearing these properties down as we speak right now, like I said, yesterday somebody said something about properties being torn down around them. Yes, we are coming through.
Now, Mayor, what about businesses? We've seen businesses in Highland Park come and go. I think the CVS and Captain J's. And what is your administration doing to recruit and provide incentives for businesses to come to the city of Highland Park?
So we have, right now we're working on our strategic plan through our master plan. And all of these things, we've been having different meetings where people can come in and talk about what they want to see. In order to have businesses develop, you got to have a plan
Right.
to see exactly what it is that people want. So we've been going through that now for maybe a year of collecting data and seeing what people want to see. Now our next move is our CED department to go out and recruit new businesses. Talk about what areas of Highland Park, because we have two good areas. One is Hamilton, which we used to be called Antique Row, but it was the small mom and pop shops and things like that, you know. And there are a few businesses about to open. You don't hear about them much because they're still raising money, but
Okay.
they're about to open. And then there's Woodward
great.
Avenue, and we know one of the biggest attraction on Woodward Avenue right now is our Greenway.
Okay.
You know, the Greenway is drawing people. I've had people even talk to me. It's like, hey, when that Greenway was out, I'm trying to see if I need to get, I want to get a restaurant. I want to get, somewhere close to the Greenway. Because they know that's going to be a big space once people start actually connecting. When we connect to Hamtramck and we connect to Detroit, we connect our mile of stretch.
Right.
It's going to be quite a few people coming through here who have never been coming through here before.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of strategic planning going on right now. And our CED director, Mr. Carlton Clyburn, is out here actively talking to people about coming to Highland Park,
Yes,
opening their business.
yes.
But we also, let me just be clear. We have to have the cooperation of people. You know,
Okay.
we have to have the cooperation of all the bodies that needs to be involved in selling these properties that we own, or giving these people a chance to build here, create here, and open here. Because we have had some businesses turned away.
Wow.
And again, that's not my space. My space is to bring forth what we have.
Right.
We have
right.
20 developers right now waiting.
Wow.
Over 20, from what I understand. And making sure that those people have what they need to go forward and opening these spaces that they would like has to be trimmed. It has to be streamlined. We got to get on the same page. The mayor's office got to get on the page with the council's office, the zoning board, you know, all of those, the planning commission. So it's a
Right,
process.
Right.
And so once that process gets to the point where it's for approval, that's where we have to go. We have to start looking at the bigger picture, the
Bigger
longer.
picture.
I'm planning for the next 5 to 10 years. I'm not planning for me.
Yes. And that was my question to you, Mayor, and that is, what can the residents expect over the next 4 years if you're reelected?
So they can expect to see the finishing of the water infrastructure. Again, people want to make sure they come into a space where we got safe water, where they are not having to pay $10,000 or better to, you know, put in underground piping for themselves. Well, this is being done.
Okay.
This is being done. We got $100 million from the state of Michigan. This is absolutely unheard of in this city. We got, since I've been in office, $100 million
Wow.
to improve our infrastructure, our water infrastructure, our lead lines, our water lines. We have master meters now under the ground that's telling us how much sewage we're using, how much water we're using. You know, they were estimating. You know what I'm saying? They were
Right,
definitely
right.
estimating. And so with that being said, now we don't have to estimate. We got data collecting.
That's fantastic.
So now people can come in and they build and say, hey, I know that this is not how much water I'm supposed to be using. Let me go up here and see what the meters are saying and what's going on. But I got clean lines now that can come straight into my building.
Wow.
So $100 million, like I said, unheard of. We got that in 2023, started in 2023 fighting and got it approved. We're working on it. Every single resident, every single business that's operating, every water main in this city will be replaced. That's huge.
And that's huge because that's what's going to attract.
That's what's going to attract businesses now.
And when you think about, Mayor, that Highland Park was once home to over 45,000 residents during its 40 to 50,000 residents in its manufacturing heyday.
Yes.
Now we're down to about, 9,000? Somewhere
Anywhere
around
from
there?
85 to 9,000.
To 9,000.
Yeah.
So the things that you're saying is very encouraging to know that we can increase those numbers because then it increases the tax base.
Right, but I didn't tell you this. There was part of that money was paid off a $58 million debt
Wow.
to GLEWA that saved people's houses, because they were going to put that on the tax roll. They were going to put that on people's taxes. We don't know what the numbers would have been on people's houses. Businesses would have been the ones that had the bulk of it, but can you imagine how many businesses that's still here would have left if they had to pay $10,000
Yes.
extra or whatever on that? That's huge. So that was an incentive in itself just to be able to pay off that debt so they did not have to do it and save the houses of citizens who would not have been able to survive that.
Wow. Mayor, when guests come into Highland Park, of course, we want them to see our 199-foot tower out in front of WHPR TV. As mayor of this city, when guests come into this city, what do you want them to see?
Well, I'm telling you, I've taken them around. I've walked them around. I want them to see the potential of the city. I want them to see the spaces that they have, that we have here, that they can develop. I want them to see our master plan of what we feel is necessary for Highland Park to survive. It's a lot that I want them to see. We don't have enough time for me to talk about it, But I want them to see the out with the old,
Yes.
in with the new.
Yes.
And there will never be the same Highland Park that I grew up. I get it. And I don't really want it to be. I want it to be for future generations to come here, stay here, play here, work here. I've never left this city. I've worked in this city all my life.
Wow.
Except for 2 years, my last 2 years of education. I worked in this city, Highland Park, my whole entire life.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so that's what I want our next generations to be able to say.
Yeah, let's shift the conversation a little bit with the increase in crime, shootings. Public safety is one of the top concerns among many residents. What progress has been made in the city and what still needs to be done?
I'm glad you asked that question. Listen, when I came into the city, we had 10 murders. That was the numbers. That was the data. 10 murders. And I don't like to talk because I don't want nothing to happen.
Right.
But I'll just say last year's data showed 2.
Wow.
2. Yes,
That
we
is-
still have a lot of work to do and when it comes to violent crimes, as far as other things like domestic violence, work-related stuff like that. And it's important. It's very important. So my plan, as we have DWIN as a partner here,
Yes.
is to try to get a space where people who are in these situations be able to come to, talk to somebody, get help to get out, and save their lives. That's my goal.
Okay.
That's my goal. But also, let me just say this, Lord, from my ears to yours, please don't let that happen. We have only had 0
Wow.
murders this year.
Wow. That
0.
is fantastic. That
Right
is
now. So
fantastic.
it's the trend. You hear it all across the state. We're trending down. Detroit, Highland Park, all of it, Inkster, everywhere is trending down
It's trending down.
on murders.
Mayor, if our time is winding down, I know that you're giving us such good information, but if you're reelected, what specific goals should the residents hold you accountable for by the end of your next term?
That's a very good question. So, I have three very important ones. Okay, one, improve public safety. Continue to improve public safety. Hiring more officers, hiring more people to work in the public safety department, because
Okay.
everybody is not an officer. It's
Right,
different things.
right.
And making sure that they're visible, making sure the more we have, the more visibility we can get.
Sure.
So that's one of the biggest and finishing out our justice center, which is we just received $500,000 to do. So that's one thing over there that we are
Fantastic.
proud of.
Yeah, you
I
should
begged for
be.
that money for
And
3
that's
years.
what I was going to ask you too. What is the one thing that you're most proud of?
I'm
Okay.
proud of the fact that I was able to now work with someone who gave us the money to finish this justice center,
Okay.
because it's been a long time coming, and I've been begging for 3 years for people to
Wow.
get it. We finally got it. Thank you, Representative Tanya Meyer Phillips. The other one thing is that I have a partnership. Partnerships that we're going to continue to grow with the schools.
Okay, great.
The Highland Park
That's
School District.
fantastic.
Because without schools, of course, people don't, they want to maybe somewhere where they can take their kids. I want to continue that progress.
Okay.
And hopefully we can start building our school system back up and working. And the third thing, and last thing I really want to see happen is that we start developing housing
Yes.
for our cities. Now,
Yes.
I'm going to be stomping the state, the federal government, trying to get housing money so that we can build more. One of the people we're working with, MHT, who is now over the Highland Park Housing Commission, they're renovating every last one of their buildings.
Wow.
They're investing over $100 million into Highland Park. And these buildings are beautiful now. They finished Downs Manor, and anybody go over to look at the renovations, it is beautiful. So those are one of the housing, schools, and making sure that our public safety continues in the downward spiral of making sure we're safe here.
Mayor, you've given us and our viewers some very good information. Now I'm going to turn it personal for a few minutes, just real quick. What is something that people misunderstand about Mayor Glenda McDonald?
I think one of the things that they misunderstand is that they think that I'm a tyrant in
Okay.
this city. That because I'm enforcing laws that are on the books that's supposed to be enforced, I'm just bullying, or I'm just picking on people. No, my job as the executive branch of government here is the chief operating officer, whatever you want to call it, is to enforce laws. That's my legislation. Make the laws. I enforce the laws. And I know people don't want to hear, hey, you can't park on your grass. That's a law.
Right.
Right. I'm not bullying. I'm not here to pick on anybody. I've had laws enforced on me. I had to tear my garage down. I had to do all of that. So I'm not a bully. Long from it. I wasn't raised like that.
Right.
I'm just
right.
doing my job.
Doing your job. And we're thankful for you did your job here today and coming here as a public servant, answering questions, and giving information that our viewers need to hear. We encourage everyone to learn about all the candidates, to participate in the election, more importantly, to vote. Make your voice heard. If you're running for a political office, or give us a call at 313-868-6612. We want your voice to be heard, because at the end of the day, the best information we want to provide is so that our residents, our viewers, can make informed choices. You've been watching What People Need to Know. I'm Maxine Willis, host today and general manager of WHPR TV. Thank you for spending your time with us, and we'll see you next time.